Hey guys, welcome back to Objective Reviews. My name is Nick and today we are going to be checking out the 2017 Retina MacBook Pro 13 inches variant. So let's get started off with a quick unboxing, and I'm showing you guys this part because of this tiny detail that we noticed when unboxing this, and that's with the external box that houses the MacBook Pro's white box that we've all come to know. And when you open the top flaps and you pull the side tabs, it slightly raises up, and that is a very interesting detail that we noticed, and I just had to show it to you guys. Good job, Apple. So let's get right into the physical overview, and this laptop is really tiny and very thin, coming in at just about less than a centimeter thick, and that is just brilliant how Apple can pack so much into such a small chassis. Now mind you, this does not have a dedicated GPU in there. Nonetheless, if you do get a variant with a dedicated GPU, I'm not sure if it's available with a 13 inch. I'm pretty sure it's available with a 15 inch one. But even if you do, the chassis does not change. It remains the same, and it utilizes a lot of passive cooling using the all aluminum unibody chassis that it has. And that is a great job that Apple does. But however, given that these laptops do tend to hit the thermal limits of their chips, and that is a shame because Apple wants these laptops to be as quiet as possible, so the fans never ramp up and you just hit the thermal limits right away. Now taking a look at this from the outside, it looks absolutely spectacular in this space gray. I have previously owned a silver MacBook Pro back from, I don't know, I think when the first unibody design came out. I got that one and used that one, and that was it. That was the last bit of Mac hardware I had ever bought, except now that I'm using this one. The thing is, the ports, yeah, so this one has two USB-C ports on either sides, and one of this is a Thunderbolt 3 port, and what that allows you to do is extend that port. Well, you can use it for charging. You can further on extend that port to get other port accessories like HDMI, VGA, Thunderbolt 2, and well, micro SD and SD card slots, and USB 3.0A ports and 3.1A ports, and lots of that. But you do need an accessory, so welcome to #DongleLife. But I do realize that a lot of people make a big deal of this DongleLife thing, and it's not really that case. If you have, now we have monitors that have USB-C ports back on them, so you can plug in a single cable to them. The LG Ultrafines are there. There are a couple of others from LG, and I think Dell is coming up with a few. So the USB-C monitors are coming in slowly into the market. And yes, it was going to take a lot of time for this to happen, but it is finally happening. Now, number one, you don't need that dongle. The second thing people tell me about is, oh, we need to connect external media. Well, connect to it over wireless. Why do you need to have a physical cable to it? Right? Well, wrong. For people like myself who work on videos, etc., we need that 1 gigabit or 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, and that is when this whole thing falls apart, because Wi-Fi AC is going to give you a theoretical max of a gigabit a second with a lot of latency involved, and depending on the connection strength and the signal quality, it's going to vary between 600 to 700. So it's not really a gigabit connection, and if you're working on those 4K and 5K or even 8K red footage, well, you definitely need that 10 gigabit Ethernet. Well, of course, the 3.5mm jack is there, so yeah, let's get that out of the way. Moving on to the display itself, it's a gorgeous little 1440p display, which in Retina scales down to 720p, and it's pretty usable for day-to-day tasks. I tried, combining a couple of Xcode projects, and that was fine, and using the simulator, but I do prefer using devices for Xcode work. And then I tried doing some other bunch of things like day-to-day things like email and reading websites and stuff like that, and that was all fine until you get into using Final Cut Pro, and that was abysmal. You definitely need an external monitor if you're going to do any kind of graphics work or 3D work, or any kind of designing and stuff. You just need an external monitor with this laptop. But that is just my use case and requirement. If you need a, well, sort of pro grade laptop where you're going to be doing a lot of work that fits in that 720p screen, well, this is spectacular because the black levels on this screen are beautiful. So like you can see on your screen right now, we just set a black wallpaper and there's no backlight bleeding and none of that nonsense, no dead pixels, no pixels wiggling all over the place. So the display is certainly beautiful. And that hinge is just beautifully smooth. So I can lift it with a finger without the laptop moving all over the place. So that is some really brilliant hinge design coming in from Apple as always. Now the front facing camera is a 720p Facetime HD camera. I have still no idea why Apple doesn't do a 1080p camera out there. It can be a decent camera. It doesn't have to be the best 1080p camera in a laptop. It can be just a decent one and I'm pretty sure people are going to be happy. But 720p, no. So let's take a look at the video we get from this camera. Okay, so we are on the MacBook Pro's camera and it looks pretty okay. So I'm gonna have someone turn on the lights now. The second button. Okay, open. Yeah. And I am not sure if that has improved the quality of the noise that is appearing in the background that I can see on my screen. But I'm not feeling this. I need a 1080p camera, you guys. I need it. And as you can see in darker rooms or in darker environments, it's pretty okay. You bring the light up and then it starts to bring in those details, and that is what you would naturally expect from any camera. But if you did notice, the audio quality is pretty nice, so that is something that is saving this setup from blowing all over the place. Now yes, this MacBook Pro does have the touch bar, but yeah, it's still not a very useful thing. And the Touch ID, come on. You had 2 years to change the position of the Touch ID sensor on the laptop to somewhere else. You could have done that, but now let's talk about the keyboard and the new switches that Apple has included with this. It's still the butterfly mechanism, but it's the version 2 of it, and it is a whole lot better than the first version Apple came out with. So here's a quick sound test of how it sounds. And they not only sound good, but they also do really feel good when you're typing on them. Of course, this is not comparable to even some of the cheaper mechanical keyboards that you can buy, but by far this is one of the best keys I've used in 2017 on a laptop. Now the trackpad is ginormous on this, and the first version of this trackpad had a lot of issues with palm rejection, but this one, no, none of that. It just works perfectly when you want it to, and when you're typing on the keyboard, it just gets out of the way. I never had my palm move the cursor around or the text editor scattered around, so yeah, that problem is definitely gone in this model. Now let's talk about the battery life. The battery life lasted me a good 6 hours on normal usage and about 4 hours on really heavy usage, 3 to 4, take a pick. And I'd say that's pretty decent. The USB-C charger does a pretty good job keeping this guy juiced up, and it doesn't overheat a lot when you're doing stuff, but it does overheat and get really nippy. So yeah, keeping this on your lap and doing some heavy work on it is definitely not recommended. If you have to do that, just find yourself a table or something that you can keep the laptop on. And for heat dissipation, there are 2 vents at the bottom cover. Now these are decently big vents for the kind of cooling Apple goes with, and they do tend to catch up some dust within a day's or two's use, so you might want to keep these clean so the air can flow normally out of them as quickly as possible, and they're positioned in a place good enough that your hands constantly won't be hitting some hot air coming out of the laptop. Now, of course, the elephant in the room is the lack of the glowing Apple logo, but I'm so thankful it's finally gone. It was a vestigial part from the old MacBook designs, and it should have been out way long ago when the first Retina screens showed up. I have no idea why it continued to be there, but now that it's finally gone, I am so happy. that my laptop's battery isn't under stress all the time that damn lid is open. Now this display does a pretty good job of going all the way up right or all the way down, and yeah, it's pretty solid. As for the audio on this laptop, I'll let you be the judge for yourselves. Search in Safari for iPhone X.
Here's what I found on the web for iPhone X.
I have some great apps for you to check out. Well, the first one that we're going to be looking in this video is called Lookup. Now, Lookup is a very simple app, and I really love these kinds of apps that do one thing and do it very properly. So what Lookup essentially does is give you new words to check out every single day. And these are not words that appear often in our day-to-day reading material and stuff like that. These are very unique words that the developers and designers behind Lookup put a lot of effort and thought behind. So guys, that was my review of the Apple MacBook Pro Retina 2017, 13 inches with Touch Bar and Touch ID. So let me know if you liked this review. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, let me know down in the comments why you disliked it, and let's start the conversation down in the comments. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.